Hi there, this is Kathy Crow, and it is so nice to see you here at the Crow Cottage. Today is going to be another short one while Jeff's taking his nap. And summer is almost over, yes, it's warm, but it's nice. So much cooler than it was. I actually could sit out on the porch this morning with my coffee and breakfast, and it was really nice, and it's still nice. The shade kind of starts to creep up and disappear off of our porch, and once it does, the windows shades all get pulled and shut, and trying to keep it cool in here. We probably got, I don't know, I'm gonna guess 2 more weeks of some heat, and then it should get really nice, really nice. But it actually is really good now. I feel like a real wimp now. I'm not used to our Tri-City heat anymore. So in the 90s, I start to feel warm, and it isn't because of the humidity. It's actually been pretty good, although we got a good rain last night. That was good. Now today, I am going to show you some new things. I'm really excited about them. The newsletter I did today, I loved that potted geranium. It's so fun. But these arch dies are really neat, and I'm so glad I bought them. I almost didn't because, you know, I've got oval dies, and although because of the straight sides, you can't really do this with those oval ones. So I went ahead and caved and got these, and I'm so glad I did because see how many they are. They all nest, and I really like nested dies because then you can more easily layer without having to do any measurements. If you've watched me for very long, you know I have trouble with measuring. Math was not my forte in school for sure. So I don't have to measure with these, and the big one is like super big. It's too big to go on my standard sized card and have anything really around it. So I don't think I've even used this biggest one today. I'm going to do one of the new stamp sets. This one's called Autumn Trees. It's really pretty. And I want to show it to you. I'm going to show it to you again later because I'm going to do an autumn version later. But today we will make it as a summer tree, and I think it'll make a really nice background for a window. And that's one of the reasons I bought these, was to do various sized windows. Now I have a couple of window dies, and they're nice because they actually look more like windows. Those are just arches. But you know, I can do everything with that. I can do labels, I can do windows, I can do layers and layers and layers, and it's just nice to have a variety of things. If you have never had a variety of Stampin' Up! Things, then become a demonstrator. It is the only way you will be able to afford to do it. And just saying, okay? So anyhow, I would love to have you join my team anytime, but we are going to go ahead and get started. And because who knows how long Jeff is going to take his nap. And so we will get going here in just a moment. All right, so I had to do, last week I got ink all over my little paper that I had down over my glass mat that glares so bad. And I've already torn it, and I don't have my label, but I do have a website if you want to know what it is. Now, I am going to be just showing you really quick some of the things that are coming up because this one was neat. I'm going to do that one next. I haven't got any of these on Pinterest yet. Amber Autumn is really pretty. It has this wonderful leaf die, and I'm going to do it with my old pretty pumpkins. That's going to be coming up. This is the die that it cuts with that set. Oh, it's so pretty. These are old retired pretty pumpkins. Oh, I love the squirrels. Okay, squirrels are just too fun. I couldn't resist even though I tried to because I do have, I think, 2 squirrel sets I really like, but these guys were so cute. I did not buy the punch. They're easy to cut out, okay? And plus, you get a punch for this one, but not this one. So since I figured out I'll be cutting out a squirrel anyway every time, I'll just cut it out. The etched autumn background I'm particularly loving because I do have a background leaf set, but it's not as nice as this one. The leaves are more crammed together on the other one, and it also has some tropical leaves, and I'm, you know, because I don't live in a tropical zone, I don't do tropical stuff too often. So that leaf thing is going to be so, so cool. Now, the reason I want you to see this die and stamp set, particularly today, even though this is not what I'm doing, this is what I'm featuring because this is for sale. This is not yet. If you aren't a demonstrator, this is not available to you until next month, September. But if you are a demonstrator, get in there and order these things. They are going to be gone super, super fast, I predict. Now, the die actually cuts out and embosses. It cuts and embosses. It's so cool. Plus, look at all of the background that you get cut out for you, and you don't have to do it. I hoped it would turn out this good, and I was so thrilled. Plus, this is a bonus I didn't even expect. There's this wonderful little deer scene that one of the dies also cuts out, and plus it doesn't cut it out. So this is something that you can do right on your card. That's the front flap, and then this can be positioned behind it, and isn't that pretty? And then it's all connected, so you don't have to try to cut little skinny types of dimensionals to make this. It's really hard to do. Dimensionals behind his body's not too bad, but behind the grass and behind their ear and all that, you really can't do it. When it's all connected like this, you don't have to, and yet it'll still be a raised effect. Okay, so this is the thing we're gonna do today. It's gonna be super fun, super quick. This stamp set is fabulous. I'm so glad it is a cling one because it's big. The only things that I might want as a photopolymer one would be the deer, but I have a bunch of deer, so I think I can survive with that. Plus, a deer is pretty easy to just position and not have to make it perfect. The rocks also would have been nice to have as photopolymer, but I probably do have photopolymer rocks somewhere. But these are nice background stamps to have if you do any kind of landscape art with your stamp stuff. And I love to do different landscapes for my cards because that's just the kind of stamper I am. Now this is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. You can see that's going to fit perfectly on there. And I'm going to just stamp that up with basic black. And the way I'm going to do it is normally I would just stick this stamp set like right here on my board and ink it up and then work it that way. But to prevent the glare and all, I'm going to go ahead for you, just for you, and drag out my big block. I don't use this block all that often. But today I'll use it just for you. Okay, so I'm gonna ink this up with a tuxedo black. I could use brown, that would work too. Oops, that's pretty inky. Obviously my pad's not quite inked evenly all around to have gotten it that heavy there. So I'm gonna have to be careful not to push too hard on that when I lay this on there. I'm not gonna push it down any way. I already got ink on this. Can you believe it? I'm gonna just put my paper right here. Actually, this is our basic white cardstock. And then I'm gonna push down. A friend got this cool little Stampendable pusher. And this comes in so handy when you need a nice even surface pushed down. Okay, because I don't want that to be pushed too hard there. I do kind of want it pushed hard in the middle, particularly. You got to be careful not to move it around. And there you go. You can see it was kind of heavy there, but not too bad. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this and rinse it off really quick, just here in the sink, just to give it a good clean, because I did get quite a lot of ink down in that. Oops, I got water on that. Let's get that off. All right, so I could have used a baby wipe or something, but I didn't want to use my Stampin' Chamois on all of that black ink. That black ink would have made it, would have cleaned it really nice, but then I would have had to have cleaned that like super fast too. So now that is that. We're not going to do anything else. I don't need any more of these other stamps today. Like I said, you're going to see these again later. What I want to show you is the dies. So these are the dies that you get with this set. You get everything cut out, the deer, the rocks, the little tree, the little branches in that little tree. Pretty cool, huh? And then this wonderful little canopy, which I haven't even worked yet. But that's going to fit on there really nice. If I want to today, maybe I'll do it. I haven't even cut it out yet. And then this little deer that I showed you earlier. Pretty nice. Very nice dies. You're going to want those for sure. That's the one that I have that I'll put on a card on another day. We'll just put that out of the way for now. And let's go ahead and put this up so I can cut this out. Oh, forgot. Before I cut anything out, let's do our colors. So I'm going to do a little bit of Stampin' or a little bit of Shaded Spruce, and I'm going to just sponge. I think sponging today is going to go faster than coloring, and you really don't have to be very careful about your placement of anything here. It's going to be beautiful no matter what you do. And actually, if you're going to be blending colors like this, I actually used our alcohol dyes to do this, but it is a little harder to do than if you are using a little dauber like that, these little sponge daubers, and your inks. This is Soft Sea Foam, and I'm going to use the other side here so that I'm not mixing that up, so that I can get some nice light stuff on the edge there. And if I wanted it to look a little more spring green, I would use some yellow in there, but I think this is going to work just fine. Perfect. Okay, let's get a little bit there and there and there of the darker side. I think that's it. Perfect. I don't really need any green, I don't think, down here, but we'll put some in just to be sure. And then those are done. Enough of the sky is going to be cut away that you are not going to have to worry about that at all. I'm going to get bronze out. This is our bronze alcohol ink, and just do the lines and where it would be darker. Okay, and I'm going to do those with markers, these branches. I want those to be very, very small in effect. Okay, so we're going to just do that. Let's go down so you can see what's happening here. And then let's grab ivory. Ivory and bronze come together in a pack. If I can find my ivory, where are you? I might not find ivory because there's one. Perfect, because I thought I had another new one in here. I had to throw one away when I was working on some leaves, that big leaf set. I had to throw my ivory away. Okay, so that's that. This is a little bit on the light side. I'm going to get out something a little darker than ivory. Let's just see what we have here. We've got, let's do 700. 700, yeah, that's gonna give me just a little bit more of what I need. All right, and then, because I don't want this to look as green as it is, I'm gonna go ahead with some pecan pie. Or no, I'll just grab out my bronze again, and we're gonna get rid of some of that green that was kind of in there a little bit. Okay, all right, and now let's use a marker, and I'm gonna just grab one and hope it's the color I need, because this is, oh good, pecan pie, perfect. So this is the bullet tip, and then we're gonna go like this and get these little individual branches. Okay, now this is the only part that takes a bit of time because there's so many of these little branches. You want to make sure you get every single one. They're so cute. Today when I was out, since it rained so much last night, so nice. I slept through that thing. Jeff said, how did you sleep through it? And I said, did you sleep well last night? Because he's the guy that he takes a nap because he doesn't sleep at night, you know. So No, I was up a bit. There was a big, loud crash. He said, I wasn't really even sure at first that it was thunder, but it was. It was really, really loud. How in the world did you sleep through that? I don't know, I said, because I did. Maybe I had my deaf ear up. I don't know, but I did not hear a thing. I did see a little lightning when I got up to use the restroom at some point, but I just assumed it didn't do much, but I could tell that it had rained a ton out there, so I was so excited about that. Anyway, so when I went out to spray a little bit, because we will get some, those roses will get some black spot if I don't spray. So I made sure that I went out and sprayed this morning, and I was so glad I was being really super careful because it was late enough in the morning. I have to be really careful of the bees because normally bees aren't going to be out at that time, but I mean earlier, you know, if you do it early, they're not so many and all that, but I was having to do it pretty late, and I do not like to spray the bees. So this one does not cut out. It's just an embossing die. I shouldn't say it doesn't cut out. It does cut out all of that little detail. But what you need to do is before you position that, put the outer one on and make sure it's solid. It's in there exactly where you want it, framing up every little area of the tree perfectly, because that die is going to keep this die in the perfect position to cut out all of the other stuff. So we'll see how well I can do it. Now I'm going to line these sides up really well for that trunk, and then these lower branches really well. The top kind of have to adjust a bit. I think that's probably about as good as I'm gonna get it. Oops, and then my fingernail grabbed it and moved it. I think that's good. Now this, sometimes with a big metal thing, I've got a magnetic plate down there, it can make it adjust. And if it's adjusting too much, you see I've got like just the perfect edge all around it. That's what I want. But if it's not, if it's interacting and it's moving, just tape everything down. You're gonna throw away all of the edges, so you don't have to worry that it's gonna cause any problems. Okay, so if it tears the paper, it doesn't matter because it's not gonna matter. It's not gonna matter. There's the outer die. Look at you. Oh, so pretty. Now I'm gonna grab my roller thing and get that cleared out, and then while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and get before I remove this whole deal, I'm going to want to get the arched window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of cardstock that's white, or whatever color you want your window to be. Cut it at 4 1/4 by 11, and then you're going to fold it 5 1/2, and then that is going to create your front of your card for your arch for your window. And I'm going to take that and stick that there. We're going to use this to try to scrape some of this mess into my container, and we'll just put our trash back in here. And I'll deal with that later. All right, so before we get rid of the cutting, let's put, oh, sorry about that. We're gonna take this die piece, put it back in the box so I don't lose it. And now, do I have cardstock already cut? I thought I did, but let's see if I actually do. I've got white cardstock cut in 4 1/4, but no, I don't, of course. So I'm going to have to cut it, and then we will do that. All right, so here's a piece of white cardstock. We will cut it at 4 1/4, and we'll score it at 5 1/2. Fold that, and then this is going to be the front of my card. So I want to go ahead and put a window in that. So we'll take this, and we're going to open it up, and we'll put our arch. I'm going to use the third one down for my window. And now let me look at my tree, because I'm going to want this tree to be partially into the window, but partially out. I don't have a lot of room to do that, do I? Not really. I kind of want my trunk to be showing a bit. This is pretty big. I hate to put a bigger window in this card, but let's try the next size up and see how much of a margin I get, because I want to make sure there's enough of a margin around it, because this is not a very big margin here at the top. Yeah, I'm thinking I might have to do this bigger one. It's not really the one I wanted to do, but we're gonna do it anyway. My sentiment might have to be like super skinny down here on the bottom. So make sure it's straight for one thing. You've got your edges equalized on each side. You've got enough of a top there to close that card. And then this is going to be my arched window. Let's see how that's going to close. Perfect. I loved it. That's going to be so nice. Now you can take this piece and just save it to use as a label at some point. We won't, you know, I'm probably not going to use it, but I could use it back here. If I don't want this to be, actually, I'm probably going to use it because this is such a narrow margin at the top. I'm not going to want a boxed type card. If you wanted more of a 3D effect in a boxed card, you could make a little fold here, just a short, very, very narrow one to give it a little bit of a raised effect, and then you could have this lowered a tiny bit, you see. But I think we're going to go ahead and just use this. I'll use this as the background for my tree, and it'll just be all flat and not necessarily a nice 3D thing, just because it's gonna, that card is gonna be, that opening window is gonna be so big, we better not do that. All right, so we are all set and ready to go. Oh, I am gonna catch my breath here for a second while I try to get my slipper on. Downstairs, if you notice, I have my sweat jacket on. I have to wear that all the time down here because it's always so much colder downstairs, and just because of the fact that it's a big house and the upstairs is always warmer than I want and the downstairs is always colder than I want, and so I have to have my slippers and my jacket down here, even though it's 80 something degrees and quite toasty outside. All right, now that we have finished that cut and that fold, let's burnish this top so it's staying down nicely. All right, perfect. This is going to be so pretty. Now I could do a nice sky back there if I want to, but before you do anything with that, you're going to want to decide how you want your sentiments. I think I'll put the base of this down here where I can't see it all that much. The tree can't stick out too far to the sides because I don't have a lot of sides for it to do that, unless I trim it quite a bit, which I could do. This does not have any sentiments in it, but today I was using the right words, which is very well said, so we'll just get the right words out. Now I have the right words in Spanish, but I have not been using my Spanish cards all that much, so I think we'll just do it in English today. We've got Thinking of You. This is a set that I got mostly by this, Hoping the Loss You Feel Right Now Will Be Eased by Wonderful Memories. I love that. And Sending Good Vibes. I like that too. Actually, there were so many here. For somebody that was doing a memorial, the Forever Loved, Forever Remembered, wouldn't that be nice for the photo layout of the loved one who is deceased? That would be a really good one to go with a memory book or something. But just know how much I love and care about you is really good with all of these other ones. I wish I had the right words for a time like this. I thought this is perfect. Exactly what I would kind of want to write, but probably wouldn't write it. And I know a good thing when I see it, and I see lots of good things in you. I love that. Now, this one I don't want to ever use, although it is one that I could have used a whole lot. People are always leaving, and it's like, I don't like that you're leaving, but I know God's really going to bless you where you're going, and so I'm happy for you, but I wish you weren't leaving. All right, so we are going to go ahead. I forget. I miss you already. That's cute. I don't want to do birthday. I think I'm going to just do the sending good vibes. I mean, seriously, how good can it get? That's pretty sweet. Now let me look at my deer really quick, if I can find it. Where did I put you, little deer? There you are. I want to see how you are going to look in this window. Like right on the side. Let's put the tree in here. I mean, if I had deer outside my window, that'd be great. They never are outside our window. We do see them outside other people's windows right here, but not our window. I do really like that, though. The deer are so cute. So I think I might sacrifice my little cutouts here, and I'll do that when I do other ones. And we're going to color these little deer so that I can use these. Let's see. I am going to do my cinnamon cider. I've been using cinnamon cider quite a bit lately. I don't really know why, but I just am. Today, before I get going too much, I need to make sure I have something underneath here that I can color on. So I'm not ruining my mat already. So let's color on this. All right, so cinnamon cider, the brush tip. Oh, you're drying off. Good. We're going to go ahead and just do you like this, like this. My brush tip's kind of messed up, but that's okay. We're going to get the little legs like that. Okay. And the ears. Nose just a little bit, and then we're going to use a lighter ink to blend that in so that it kind of all becomes brown, but a lighter brown. And we will use I'm going to use my Warm 00 to start that out. Let's see what we get. Warm 00, because I kind of wanted to lighten up that brown quite a lot. Okay, so I'm going to go over the whole thing, kind of lighten that up. Good. I'm going to cut all this away, so that's why I'm not worried about it. I think I need to get it brown again, so I'm going to get a lighter Copic pen. A lighter brown, and this one is E55. That one's kind of dark, but not too bad. All right, very good. Okay, we're going to go over the whole thing with that. Better, 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 better. Perfect, in fact. I'm not bothering with white on these guys. I might do that with a gel pen afterwards. You know, if I feel like it. I'm not going to worry about it too much right now. Let's do those little cattails. I think I've got some winter wheat here somewhere. The wild wheat is what it's called. We're gonna do our cattails with that, with the marker. Okay, and then we want gray with those rocks, but I'm not going to use a Stampin' Up! Color on those because that'll be too dark. I'm not sure how much that's going to show anyway. We will see. Then for the green, I think we're going to do This is Shy Shamrock, which is pretty green. We're gonna put some of that on here. Okay. Oops, I missed the cattail. We're gonna do a great green cattail there. And we're gonna do that and that. Grass. Okay, and where the rock is. All right. Hopefully I didn't mess up my grass there, but that's okay. We're gonna just live with whatever I got. And then we're gonna snip that, and we're gonna snip that, just to pull it off. And now we can assemble. So we've got our window. We're gonna pull that off anyway, and probably put you here. We're gonna put our tree kind of here. We'll pull that off more. I'm gonna put our tree here like this. I'm kind of just getting a feel for how much of a blue background I want for the sky. That's what I need. And I am gonna take my deer, and I think we're gonna shave this off some so we can lower this. And maybe put our rock even in front of our trunk bottom. And now let's see what that opening is gonna look like. Let's move our tree over. And that's what the opening will look like. Maybe I want you down much lower. I do. And then we'll trim that as we get to it. All right, so now we're gonna just do the sky. Just need to sponge in the sky. And we've got some pretty bold green going there. So let's do, well, I don't know if I really want a dark blue. We're gonna go Pool Party on this one and just sponge our Pool Party on this. Let's go like this. Okay. Okay, very good. Now we don't need to get too carried away here, just a bit. Most of the bottom is going to be covered by other stuff. Okay, perfect. This is a little dark on this side, but that's okay. I think we're done with that. Kind of a greenish sky, but that's because I didn't want anything too vivid and too bold on it. All right, so what we're going to do is this needs to be positioned exactly in here like this. So I think in order to do that, the best way to accomplish it is to just use a backing that's a little smaller than the front, and we're going to attach it all to that. Okay, so it's going to simplify it, clean up any edges of the design that's going to be sticking out over the edge. So we're going to go with 5.5 here, and then I'm going to trim it down. We're going to trim it down just a little so that it's not sticking out on the edges. So about a little bit, about 1/8 of an inch off. Don't really need more than that. And then this is now going to go here. We're going to push that in and make sure it's staying like that. And then I'm going to take this and glue it to it right here. And then we will work on it when it's loose. Okay, so just check and see if it's inside pretty much where you want it. So I've got an edge here, I've got a little edge there. Okay, we're not gluing it down to anything there. We're going to glue this to it. Okay, so I'm gonna take the front and put it down and then position this right inside where it needs to be. Okay, there we go. Now it's right where I need it to be. And now we can, and it's not stuck to the back or anything. We're gonna put our little tree on here. Okay, it's kind of looking green back there. I think I'm gonna put some yellow back in here with a pen, just to make sure that we've got some other coloring going here behind this tree. Otherwise it's just not enough. Okay. This is a Y000 that I'm using to kind of blend that in. That was Lemon Lolly I put on the dark yellow. There we go. And then if your pen is colored, make sure you get that off. That ink's pretty well dried. It's going to be fine. Now you can see it's kind of highlighted a little bit there. All right, my tree looks pretty good. I kind of like where it is, so I'm going to just go ahead and, do I want to glue that down? Yeah, I think I'm going to put the deer on the front. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this tree right down. Now it does have little openings for the leaves. If you want that to pop at all, pull those up like that. And then those are going to, you know, show. Again, I've got that other canopy thing that you could do with the different greens and golds and browns for autumn, red, spring, you can do pink. I mean, I love the trees because you can just do so many really nice seasonal things with it. This is coming out a little. I'm going to clip that edge. Let's glue that down, and then we're going to glue this guy like right here. I think will look fine. Oh, so cute. Look. Yeah, that's gonna be just fine, I guess, right there. All right, now that I've done that, I'm gonna go ahead and clip off anything that's kind of hanging off the edge there. And now to glue this, oops, that's kind of hanging off, isn't it? Let's get rid of that. All right, now we're going to take this again and put it in here where I want it. And then we're going to glue where all around this edge where this is going to glue to that front. Now, this is not going to show any of that, so just make sure everything you want to show is showing. Okay. I did go a little low there. You don't want to go so low that you're getting the back of that card. I don't want to do that. Too well, we'll figure that out. I might have to get a little glue off of that. Okay. It's going right over the tree, which is what I want. Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, if you were going to do a shaker card, you definitely would want your 3D kind of thing happening. And then because you would need a raised edge. And then you could seal it with your dimensional pieces, and then you could make this a nice little shaker card. That would be cool too. Okay, make sure it's opening. Good, good, good. Isn't that cute? The deer are, you know, a little bit bland, but that's okay. You can take your gel pen if you want to, you know, add any white to them. You can put some white dots on their hind end. Gel pen and their little nose. You could even do it on their little belly. You know, you could do it on their little tail. All right, and the sentiment, and we're done. So cute. I Miss You Already would look really good here, I think. Might do that and send this to my in-laws, my in-laws, sort of like removed in-laws. I don't know. I think I will do that. I Miss You Already. Let's get rid of that. Oh, it doesn't really fit. It's close. I mean, it almost does, but it's a little too close. Since this is a cling one, I don't want to get it out and not have it really fit. So we'll do the Sending Good Vibes instead. And you're going to decide, do I want this card to look mostly green or do I want it to look mostly brown? And I'm going to go ahead and do Pecan Pie. That was actually mostly what that color was. So we're going to do Pecan Pie. Now it does have two different fonts, which I love. So a lot of times I would do, you know, different colors there. But we're going to just do all of it in Pecan Pie. It did, my S flubbed a bit. I'm not sure why, so I'm going to just use that gel pen to clean that little flubbed spot up a tiny bit. Right there on my E too. Isn't that funny? I thought it looked pretty clean. pretty clean for me. And that was it. Super, super quick and easy. How do you like that? So those arch dies, oh, so fun. You can just do all kinds of things. And I know you love those windows that I did with the flowers. At least I hope you did. I sure enjoyed doing them. Again, if you need a new catalog, make sure you let me know because it is going to be time to order from the new catalog. And if you are a demonstrator, make sure you're getting in there and getting that order in. So many cute things. Have a wonderful day, blessed week, and blessed beginning of the school year. I hope things are going well for you. I'll see you next week. Bye.